Crash when you're done.
Okay. Good morning, Candace, and
Hey.
anyone who watches this recording. Let's get started. I'm gonna do the best I can with my broken little left foot here, but I am going to guide you through some vagal toning today, and then we'll incorporate some yin poses throughout as well. Um, so vagal toning is really putting our awareness toward our vagus nerve, which is that wandering one is what it's called. So it wanders through our body. And so we're going to just put a lot of awareness toward that. Obviously, breath is involved. So we're going to send some prana to maybe some places that have gathered tension. The main goal really being to open those rivers of energy running through our body. The nadis is what they're called, which means rivers. Um, so that energy can flow freely in and out, right? So that those stuck emotions um, might come up during this, whatever they are, anger, fear, sadness. So just be kind with yourself. If at any moment you need to just stop or turn your camera off or anything, you do that. But this is a totally safe space with me. So let's begin in a comfortable seat, whatever is comfy for you. You can be sitting on a prop or sitting on the floor, really feeling your sit bones rooting into the earth. Find your breath. Eyes can be gently closed. And today we're going to focus on our vagal toning through the medium of our seven chakras. Those are sort of those like energy centers in different places through our body. We're going to begin today at the root chakra and then work our way up through the crown. So place one hand on your low belly and then one hand on your sacrum, that low back, or you can even run it like your hand down your tailbone like this if that feels safe and comfortable to you. Um, so one hand on low belly, maybe give it a little jiggle, sort of find any tension there. Sometimes we don't even know that tension has gathered in these places. So this hour is a really special time to bring our awareness there, to our bodies, to what our bodies are holding. And we're just going to begin to inhale deeply, maybe visualizing that pelvic bowl, like this three-dimensional bowl of the pelvis. Exhaling deeply as well, continuing through your flow of breath. Visualizing that inhale reaching down into that bowl of your pelvis, maybe down into your tailbone. Bringing any sighs or sound to your breath that feel good. Mm. Being really kind with the thoughts, noting that we're not trying to change anything. We're just trying to bring our awareness to what is. And in that expanded awareness, that heightened attunement inward, maybe something will change or shift. Bringing some pelvis tilts now with the breath. So on the inhale, tilting your tailbone down, expanding that chest and belly forward. And then on the exhale, curling in and feeling it tilt under, tuck under. So the tailbone expands out, kind of pushes out, and then curls under on the exhale. And this can be big or small, subtle or really exaggerated. Just explore what feels best for you in this moment. And then resting in stillness, hands in your lap, noticing any changes, physical, mental, emotional, energetic. Maybe give a sigh or make the sound. Now we're going to bring our hands over our navel and begin some deep breaths into our belly, really letting that abdomen expand. And then as you exhale, really accentuating that drawing back toward your spine. Bringing in any spinal movement if it feels good with that inhale and that exhale. And an expansion and then a curl. And on your next exhale, jiggling your belly with your hands and making a sound out your mouth. Doing that a few times, inhaling, jiggling that belly. One more time. And then resting, being with whatever comes to the surface. Like you've been a stagnant pond, and now you're bringing all the life back into it. The lily pads are rising to the surface, the fish are coming up to bite. And just being with all of that life, all of that energy, all of those stagnant emotions. our nervous system and our vagus nerve and our endocrine system are all really deeply tied to our emotions. And that's why some tender feelings sometimes come up in this practice. Just welcome them in this safe space together. You're going to move into butterfly pose. So, bringing the soles of your feet to touch. Again, you can always elevate those hips onto pillows or cushions um, to have that slight tilt of the pelvis so that your spine can really elongate, just letting those chakras really have the best chance of opening and flowing with that extended spine. If at any time butterfly pose isn't comfortable, you can just return to whatever comfortable seat. But you can also put cushions or pillows under your knees so your knees aren't so, it can be kind of intense with the knees being brought down with gravity. So just really adjust yourself, take the time to get comfortable. We're going to move into our solar plexus diaphragm, this space right here below the heart, the center. Um, I recently learned there's actually three diaphragms in the body. One is the pelvic floor, one is right here below the lungs, and then one is actually the palate in the back of our throat. And what this really just tells us is that no chakra, no energy center is separate from any other. Everything is so connected in a beautiful way. So when we nourish one, we nourish all. And today we're just going to nourish all. So bring hand over hand on that diaphragm, that you can feel it. I mean, explore it for a minute. It really is this band of fascia, that connective tissue. It connects to our sternum, to our low ribs, and it actually has connective tissue that wraps around the heart. I mean, so this place, when it gets tense, I mean, it's holding so much. So let's take some time here to breathe in, just like we have been inhaling and expanding, and exhaling and contracting, and just really noting that it's maybe not as free as our navel and our pelvis was. It's maybe a little bit more restricted, and that's okay. Letting out any sound with the breath. Mm. Mm. Maybe visualizing that energy center filling with light. Visualizing that inhale swirling in the diaphragm, swirling around the heart, creating space. Mm. And the solar plexus wraps around to your side body. So we're going to move into some leans side to side. You can put one hand on the floor and reach that other arm up overhead, really stretching into that side body. Maybe opening that arm and chest slightly to the sky, creating even more opening. Mm, mm. One more each way. Mm. And then coming to rest in the center whenever you're ready, resting in stillness, using this pause as the opportunity to sense what's happening in your body, your mind, your spirit, meeting it with love, meeting it with curiosity. Sometimes in this practice, you're struck with a feeling that's unfamiliar or that you haven't felt in a long time. Maybe being in awe of what breath and movement and awareness can bring to the surface. Moving now into cow face pose. So either leg extended out straight in front of you while the other leg comes up and around. So your knees are almost kissing. Um, and that foot of the one that of the leg that's bent can be flat on the floor, or you can let it just relax and it kind of points on the floor, whatever's most comfortable for you. Using props however you'd like. You can put a cushion between your knees if that space doesn't feel good, one under your foot. You could put a cushion under the knee of your extended leg, just really settling into this cow face. So we just worked through the lower triad of our chakras. Um, and this is where we hold a lot of our early wounds. A lot of shame sometimes is held there and fear, um, that lack of safety, that powerlessness of when you were in childhood and maybe things weren't always in your control, although they never are really, are they? Um, so really just honor that lower triad. And let's now move to the heart. So hand over hand on your heart space. Inhaling and really puffing out that chest. Shoulders can draw slightly back. And then exhaling and curling in. Maybe chin slightly tucked if that feels good. Giving sound to that breath. Visualizing that heart space full of light, full of air. They say that, the heart chakra has two sides, a front and a back, and that the front is for giving and the back is for receiving. So, really trying to nourish both the front and back evenly because balance in how you give and receive love is so important to our human experience. When you're ready, resting your hands in your lap and maybe wrapping that extended leg back behind you so you're in full cow face. Definitely using your hands to adjust, maybe wiggling those hips, wiggling those knees. This will feel a little more intensity, most likely in your hips. So if that doesn't serve you, just stay as you are in a half, you're in like a half cow face. Again, use this pause to notice, to love what you notice, to send compassion for what you notice. And again, not trying to change it, just trying to be aware of it just as it is, just as it rises to the surface. And in this gentleness, in that, hmm, in that beautiful awareness of our lack of control, not trying to manipulate and force and change, but in that gentle awareness, that is when the change actually happens. It's easier than we think, it's more effortless than we think. But it certainly is a practice, and it certainly can mean pulling back some of our conditioning. The vagus nerve is really tapping into that, is really key to this unconditioning, this unlearning. This vagal toning is, I've found, really key to rediscovering the light we have, remembering who we are, who we were born to be, a being of softness who can move through the world, who can roll through the hard times with acceptance. Bringing your body into the shape of half cow face on the other side. So extending the other leg out long and wrapping the other knee over on top. Just finding that shape for a moment. Moving into our throat chakra. I really love this one. I love to express myself. I hope you all do too. Um, So we're going to bring our fingertips to just the front and the sides of our neck, just stroking that area of the throat, maybe even bringing some ujjayi breath. That's that slight constriction in the back of our throat, that oceanic sound, like Darth Vader, like the ocean. And feeling that power beneath your fingertips. Actually, that ujjayi breath It stimulates the vagus nerve, because part of the vagus nerve lives back there. So when we bring that ocean into our throat, it's stimulating that vagus nerve, bringing greater awareness to it and nourishment to it. Like I see you, I know that you are traveling through my body. I know you. I love you. I know you are connected to my stress response and my relaxation response, and I'd love to be more aware of you during the day when I go to sleep at night. Mm. Now you can either hold your throat if that feels safe to you, or hold it in any way that feels good. And we're going to, on the inhale, bring our chin forward. And on the exhale, open that chin back. And we're going to come into our jaw, rub that jaw. There's actually in our face, our vagus nerve is really close to the surface. So this jaw massage is really good. This self-applied touch is really an easy way to stimulate, to tone. And you can keep doing this rub. We're gonna do a little growl. It feels silly. My teacher says it's like a badger growling, which I think is hysterical, but it's just sort of clenching your teeth like that. Not hurting your teeth, of course, which are it's releasing that jaw, making that sound. A couple more time. And then resting those hands in your lap. If it feels good, wrapping that other leg around, adjusting those hips so your sit bones are still really grounded into the earth. Always option to put cushions between the knees, to put cushions underneath the feet or the hips, but coming into that full cow face. So both toes are wrapped around behind you, knees are stacked on top of each other. Just noticing any changes. Mm. Maybe curling forward if that serves you. Touching your forehead to your knee or to a pillow between your knee and your forehead. Just rounding that spine. We know that these forward folds really stimulate our parasympathetic nervous system, the place where we rest and digest. Mm. And when you're ready, extending both legs out long in front of you into caterpillar pose. Option to sit on a prop or to place a prop underneath your knees. And we're going to move into our face. So we're going to give ourselves a face massage. So our face doesn't have lungs, but it has sinus cavities, and we can really send our prana, that breath, through the sinus cavities, really filling that face up with that fresh life and fresh prana. So we'll begin on the bridge of our nose and just sweeping from the bridge of our nose to our temples, maybe pausing at our temples to circle. And then sweeping back, all the while sending that prana into our cheeks and our forehead and the space around our eyes. Maybe sweeping from the center of our forehead out, almost like that top of your hairline. Really honoring that this is actually a pretty ancient practice. And then just any organic self-applied touch to the face. Maybe around your nose, your mouth, your cheeks. And then bringing one hand on your forehead and one hand to the back of your skull. And breathing into that space. Bringing that prana of peace to this space. Visualizing the hemispheres of your brain filling with fresh breath and life. Ah. And giving yourself a scalp massage. I hope you're not worried about messing up your hair. It's not a place we often think of gathering tension, but our skull can and does gather tension. It's why when you go to the hairdresser or masseuse, and the head massage always feels so good. And this is something we can do for ourselves a couple minutes every day. And what you're really doing is making space for energy to flow in and out of your crown chakra. Maybe making circles on your head. Mm. Feel that opening that release, that dissolving of tension. Taking that in either hand and just rubbing the back of your neck with a squeeze if that feels good, or you can use both hands and sort of rub into both sides of the neck. Oh, letting out a big sigh. And then resting in stillness. Really imagining that flow of energy through our seven chakras, and that flow of energy is two ways. It goes up and out your divinity into the world, and then down and grounding so that you can keep your feet on the ground. Ah, and those nadis, those rivers of energy running through our body are now open and flowing and filled with light. We're going to come into a half saddle shape. So one leg remains extended long. Let's say it's your left leg that's extended long, then you're going to lean into your left hip and bring that right leg behind you so that your toes are pointing towards like your glutes toward the back of the room and your knee is pointed front. You can be sitting on a bolster, you can put a bolster under your knee, really anywhere, of course, and then try if you can not to be leaning but to come a little bit more upright. Of course, if you need to lean, that's perfectly okay. And in this half saddle, we're going to explore some chakra seed sounds. So we've been doing vagal toning, with our touch and with our breath and with our movement. Now we're going to actually do toning like with our voice. So Candace, I put it in the chat. So if you go to the chat, I put and you pull up that screenshot. If you double click on it, I think it'll make it big for you. Do you see it? Or is it not there? I think I'll
Not seeing anything in the chat.
let me try again. They're very simple sounds, but I think it's easier if you can see them yourself. Let me see if that works.
Oh, there we go. I see them.
Oh, oh, wonderful. Okay. It must have been because I sent it before you arrived.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, so I think if you double click on that, it'll pull it up.
Perfect.
And this is really nice that I'm gonna do it with my eyes closed most likely. And once you get the hang of it, you probably will start to too. But we're gonna start at the root and we're just going to say the sounds so they vibrate through our whole body, and each sound is designated to a chakra that's really nourishing and just beautiful for that chakra. So the root chakra is Lam, sacral is Vam, solar plexus is Ram, heart is Yam, throat is Ham, and then the brow is Om. And then when we focus on our crown, we just remain in silence. And you're welcome to just leave your hands in your lap, or I like to travel mine like up my body. Um, and yeah, and we'll hold this sound for a little bit. You can hear me, so I'm going to be doing it with you. So we'll do it 4 or 5 times, depending just on how good it feels. So take a couple just deep breaths, settle back in, and we'll begin. Lam, sacrum, Vam, solar plexus, Ram, heart. Yum, throat. Hum, brow. Om. Beautiful. Now I'm not going to say the body parts, but we'll do it together again and begin. Lam, vam, ram. Hum. Om. And again, Lam. Vam. Ram. Yam. Hum. Om. And one more time. Lam. Vam. Ram. Yam. Hum. Om. Take a moment. Welcome whatever tender feelings arise, whatever new power arises. And when you're ready, just really mindfully releasing that bent knee, and then leaning toward the other side with that leg extended and bending into the other knee into half saddle on the other side. We're going to move into breath of light. I love this breath so much. It's one of my favorites. So we'll do it a few times and then we'll move into just some regular yin poses to end our practice. So, breath of light is you take 7 sips of air in through your mouth, and it's again for each chakra. So, I love to move my hand up my body with each sip of the chakras. It just really helps me visualize. And so, and then and followed by a long exhale. So, the sips are like, that's it. Pretty simple. Just running up the chakras and then a nice long inhale. And it really does mimic the way that energy comes up and out and then back down and grounds us. And doing this a few times, I just find really it brings me to that balance where I'm not jumping off the walls because my energy is everywhere, but I'm not lethargic and lackadaisical, right? So this has been just like a really important breath for me in this 4 weeks of not being able to walk. It's why I haven't lost my mind, I think. So highly recommend for everyone. I will continue to do it even when I can walk again. So just find one nice deep breath and then we'll begin. And again. You can exhale out your mouth or your nose, explore which feels better, and begin. One more time. Sit in stillness. Really honoring the tonal practice. Really honoring yourself. And when you're ready, mindfully, slowly unbending that leg, bringing them back out straight into caterpillar just for a few moments. You can stay upright or you can start to, with a straight spine, walk your hands out. And then once you've hit that capacity of that elongated spine, then beginning to let yourself drop and round with gravity. When you're ready, coming on to all fours with your shoulders stacked over your wrists and your hips stacked over your knees, spreading all five fingers, really finding that index finger mound pressed into the earth. And then moving through some cat cows, your breath, your practice. Inhaling and expanding that heart forward, and then exhaling and belly button pulling in toward the spine, shoulder blades pulling apart, and then again expanding, shoulder blades pulling toward each other, and exhaling. Just continuing to move through these. Maybe bringing some lateral movements into your spine, looking over one shoulder and hips go the other direction, or maybe some just rounded circles, maybe sitting back on your hips and then pulling forward. Anything organic, move that energy. Your body will tell you what feels good. And when you're ready, pulling back into a wide knee child's pose, arms extended out in front of you, that third eye pressing gently into a prop or the floor. Letting those hips just slowly dissolve back onto your heels, if not physically, energetically, visualizing them melting. We'll be here for 2 beautiful minutes, so just enjoy moving into that deep connective tissue, that fascia, that yin, that feminine, the webbing that holds everything together. If it feels good, maybe gently rocking your head side to side, massaging that third eye, activating that intuition to carry you into your week, living your truth, listening to your inner knowing, honoring how far it's gotten you, coming back into stillness if that feels good. 5 more of your deepest breaths of the day. Mm. Whenever you're ready, coming back onto all fours. And we're going to come into heart melting pose. So you're going to walk your hands a couple of palm lengths forward in front of you. And this one is different from child pose in the way that your hips aren't melting back. Your hips are kind of almost, it's not exact, but staying over your knees. And it's really about walking those hands forward and then melting your heart toward the earth. So it's really opening that heart chakra. It's really opening that shoulder girdle. And we're here for just a few breaths. So just enjoy this, breathing into that heart space, breathing across that clavicle front, and think about breathing into the back of your heart where you receive love. One more deep, deep breath here. Sending breath in the front, the back, all around your heart. And we're going to end our practice on our back. So you can make your way there in just traditional Shavasana or my most favorite pose, which is fish pose. So you're going to take, if you'd like, a few props and place them lengthwise along your spine. So a couple of cushions lengthwise along your spine. And then you'll lay back over that prop, and your legs can be extended or they can be soles touching and butterfly, or they can be big and wide, feet just totally relaxed. Just find that comfort. 3 minutes until our practice together ends, but stay there as long as you can. That's what I want for you. So find that Shavasana. Find that final resting pose in fish, draped over a bolster or a prop running lengthwise on your spine, or just if you really want to feel the ground in your traditional Shavasana, really grounding down, feeling the support of Mother Earth, feeling that you are not alone, that you are held, that you are protected, that you are safe. If you're in fish, really knowing that time opens. And so staying here for a length of time is only going to serve to open you, your heart, your mind, your perspective, your felt sense of safety, your felt sense of wholeness. I will leave you here. Namaste, and I love you.